Should I be waiting? Feels like I've had too much of drama, but I'm not ready to give in.
What do you mean, why were you not informed? I literally said the next dev stream would be on Saturday, and today is Saturday, is it not? So, I think you were informed. Sure, like the excuse. So we play tested earlier. And oh gosh, why is this not sorted by date? No, that I have not touched this since the stream on Thursday. The thing that'll make it look even better is the breathing and walking animations, which is what we're going to work on after we get the shoot, because the shoot feels good just when you're just like standing still shooting. Like it feels good, it feels great. However, when you're walking forward, and especially like at a diagonal, like look how far that center dot is moving from the center of the circle. And what we were noticing is that because the circle's bigger, you tend to want to use that circle as your actual aim of reference rather than the dot. So even though the parallax and stuff is cool, and seeing that move as, you know, you move, it's fine when it's just a little bit of movement like this. However, when you're walking forward and diagonally and stuff, and like backwards, like look how much that center dot just moves around within that circle. What we found is just we were just having a hard time aim if we were like, you know, like moving and stuff like this. Is it felt like visual recoil, and it gave us the exact it felt like the exact same thing that we were talking about in stream, that I was like, I don't want that. I don't want visual recoil. So we're gonna look into doing some fixes for that. That's kind of the first thing I want to focus on. Yeah, there's some issues. But with the way that I'm doing this, it's kind of something that's not really been done in many games, so I don't really have much of like reference to go from. It's kind of, I'm kind of just, you know, having to figure it all out on my own. But we'll get there. But I think the quickest thing is to just adjust the height offset of the outer reticle. and that'll definitely make the parallax less visible. But as you can see, it already kind of fixes the issue of that dot just going really far into the distance. But now the reticle's also too big, so I need to change the scale. But we had also talked about, I'm going to take a screenshot of this and send this to myself just so I have it. I was also thinking about doing a very possible... Huh, weird. That's something I've thought about for the last 6 years. Well, actually more like last 3 years. But I don't like early access. And I know that the reason why I'm going to give. I know that I don't have to abide by this. But I feel like early access can be bad for your game, because if you go into early access and your game's just garbage day one of early access, even if you do a relaunch for when the game is finished and out of early access, it's gonna be hard to get those players back into your game, because they're just gonna know that their first experience was just horrible, was just awful, and they're just gonna be like, wow, this game has no future, no this game just isn't it. I'm not going to play this game. So it's really hard to get those players back. Now, what then becomes a bigger issue is that if you wait for full release, then if your full release is bad, well, then you're basically just going to have to do a relaunch anyways if you want to even bring any players back. Kind of like Splitgate 2 is doing. Splitgate 2, people just genuinely didn't like the launch, and so they went back into beta, and they're going to relaunch, but I'm one of those people that I'll go in and I'll play it, but I don't think I'm going to like it enough to like stick with it. So I am kind of one of those people that I play the Splitgate, and even seeing all the changes that they're making to it, I just don't think that it's going to be the best game. So, I realized I never even answered your question. Yeah, well, and again, I feel like that's just where betas are good, is like, I would consider a beta to have something like 3 to 5 maps, and it would just be a beta that runs for like a week. I also think that early access is something that a lot of developers kind of, and this is the part that I was saying, I know I don't have to abide by this, but I think a lot of developers tend to use early access as an excuse. So they'll release a game in an extremely broken state, and people will open it, people will play it because they're expecting a full game, and then it breaks and they're just like, oh, that's just because it's early access. We'll fix that at some point. And it's like, you know, maybe there's other things you're trying to work on. If you're constantly working on trying to fix bugs and trying to balance the game, then you're never working on the new features, and it's, you know, the customers won't be happy unless you fix those bugs instantly. And then now, instead of adding the new content like you want, you have to shift your focus to fixing bugs, and sometimes fixing bugs creates new bugs, and it's just a whole thing. As I'll look into it closer to when the game would be kind of in a good spot for early access, but I think personally, I just don't think I would ever do early access at this moment in time. Exactly. And that's kind of what we're like, that's kind of my plan is once this vertical slice is done, hopefully by Christmas. That's what we're planning for. I don't know if we'll make it. I've got a bunch of things that people are needing from me in the next couple months. So we'll see how much I can actually get done. And I think even if the vertical slice is finished, we're still going to be needing a lot of audio. So I wouldn't want to like release the vertical slice until all the audio is done for it. So even then the vertical slice is still going to be delayed past like New Year's. Which is unfortunate, but I don't want to release the vertical slice until like the audio is balanced. Like basically I want this to be a completely 100% vertical slice of the game. I don't just want to release it, you know, in a half-baked state. But basically the plan is this vertical slice is just to test the base systems. Make sure all the base systems work. At the moment, none of them are broken. None of them can be broken. Everything is mostly balanced. Maybe a few tweaks here and there. And then, this is not the playlist I thought it would be. Well, I technically didn't stream yesterday, so it's not 2 days in a row. I was going to, and then I sat down on my computer and I started dozing off, and I was like, oh, nope, I'm going to bed. But basically this vertical slice is just to test the systems, and then I would do kind of well, I've said that before. I said that for Gen 2, and then it never got there. But what do you mean weak, Mr. Bean? Oh, you know what, Bean, just for saying that, I'm gonna, don't mind this, give me a sec, here we go. Just for saying that, I'm gonna stick a knife in your face. That's what you get. That's what you get for saying that. Gen 4 is not happening. But yeah, I think that's what we do is a very, very closed vertical slice test, and then we would do a closed beta once we get like a couple maps and whatnot, and then we would do an open beta and then probably launch. I just don't care for early access. I think early access I view early access as the same thing as free-to-play games, where I don't know, early access can make or break a lot of games, and I think that's the detriment of some paid games, is the fact that they go into early access and then it just stays in early access for 4 years, and it's like, okay, well then is that really early access because it's been released? Like, I guess I view early access as a cheap beta, and I guess early access is, yes, it is supposed to be early access, but a lot of people don't see early access as early access. They see early access as release. It's really hard to fully fully show to people that early access is indeed early access. Since a lot of people see it just as release, I think that that's what causes a lot of backlash and bad reviews and stuff. So I don't think I would go early access. I think I would just host betas. Because I feel like betas will just give me the most time because I can stop the beta and I can take as much time as I need to fix bugs, fix the game, balance the game. Whereas with early access and stuff, the game is still out and people are still going to be playing it. And if it just continues to be broken. Exactly. All right, let's try these new animation or these new poses. And we'll see if those feel better once we get them in engine. That should make the sway or the shooting kind of affect the parallax of the scope a lot less. Oh. That's great. Why is there no animation data now? Oh, is Blender doing this stupid thing where it only exports the frames that you currently have selected? I know that happens a lot. That's so stupid. That's so stupid. I hate that so much. Why? Just export the entire animation, even if I don't have it selected. Okay, so yeah, you can still see it move forward and backwards, but then... I think me needs to change the depth of the assault rifle center dot. I mean, obviously mostly Halo fans, but generally just arena shooter fans. If Shroud takes my game and says it's bee's knees, I mean, I would do the smart thing and ask for feedback of why, and Shroud's a pretty smart guy, so I'm sure that he would just immediately give the feedback instead of just saying it's bad and just quitting it. I think he would try to help out. I mean, hell, I tried Shroud's game, and I don't like Shroud's game, so there's a very good chance that he might not like Onyx, but, I think that feels better. Let's try that. Oh, I've never heard it used in Good Sense. Actually, that's not true. You're not old. If you were old, you would use the phrases that my parents use. My parents are old. Well, if he says that it's great, then I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing. If anyone says it's great, I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing. I'm not gonna change anything about my G Villager. Okay. All right. Yeah, sure, buddy. They're not that old. I would just keep doing it right. I genuinely just wouldn't change anything about what I'm doing. I don't know why my game looks better when I'm watching it back in footage. Like, maybe it's just because I know I'm testing and I'm playing. Okay, that actually looked pretty sick. Doing this thrust to change my direction to melee into him. This is what this game's all about. You see how I merged both of those fools? Look at this. Pop my shield boost. Miss a bunch of shots. Try and focus on this shielded guy, and I was like, oh, he's low, so I'll throw a grenade at him. Swing into him, throw a grenade, help break his shields, and then headshot him to finish him. And then, yeah, we were testing the ADS shooting, which is what we just fixed. Well, not even that. I'm saying, like, even during gameplay, like, when we're playing on actually, you know, like, actually designed maps, even then I'm just like, meh, this is just whatever. I think it's just watching somebody, because it's also just whenever I watch other people play the game, I think it's just not actually being the one playing it and like not currently playing and just watching the gameplay, to me, I think just makes it look and feel better. It also helps me to notice a few of the bugs, like that bug. Stupid invis. Hated him. This was fun though. Like this is the first time we've tested Onyx in 2 weeks, and it's so refreshing to take a break from playing, because when we get back in, kind of like I was saying on stream the other day, where like it just, you notice the little things more when you take a break. Like the little things kind of just become like, oh yeah, that's just the game. But then you take a break and you start to notice the little things more. Like I was noticing a lot of the camera effects that I do when shooting. I notice them more when I take a break. Because if you just play it constantly every day, all day, every day, it just becomes like, okay, that's just the game. You just become used to it. So, what is this song? I'm not liking these playlists. I think I'm gonna go back to my good old, where is it? Vegzento. Good old mix. Yeah, I'm slowly working on it. And it's crazy because we're coming up on 1 year since the album has been released for Onyx, so we should probably start actually working on releasing album 2. It's been quite a bit. So we should probably, I need to talk to my music guy, and also one of my managers at work also does music, and we've been chatting. He might give his hand at making music a go. I lost this guy. I don't know. When I ground pounded him, I had no idea where he went. I don't know if he like thrusted or something. Yeah, it's already been out. I know. I saw that it was released that we released it in January. I was like, dang. Also, my aim was horrible for part of this game. I believe it. Once I actually stopped to think about how this year went, like, I believe it. I was just missing melees left and right. Also, that's probably the next stream we're gonna do. Is the scoreboard. So when I die and I open up the scoreboard. Right now I'm just showing the team scores at the top. I don't actually need to like settle the people into a stream. For the assault rifle? You like it? You better not be lying to me. Dang. It took me the run animation is like the animation that I hate to make. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to go back and watch that absolute whiff with the pistol. So I swapped to it here. 1, 2, miss, 3, miss, 4. Wow. That's rough. Yeah, the sprint animations are the animations that take me the absolute longest, because I feel like I can't make a good sprint. And I'm quite happy with the assault rifle sprint. And I think I'm fine with the SMG. I want to reanimate the pistol. I don't like the way the pistol looks. Uh-huh. We were just talking about you. I don't know how long you've been in stream for, but we were literally just talking about you, Mr. Dustin. Oh, y'all see this? Yeah, we're talking about how you might be. This is my manager that might be doing maybe possibly some music. I literally just mentioned that I'm not even 5 minutes ago about how you might be giving your hand at making some music for Onyx. So y'all see this movement tech right here? the thrust into a mantle, which maintains your velocity, and then flying over the that's some music tech. Music tech. Dang it, Dustin, now you got me talking about music. That's some movement tech. It's almost like I'm cracked and I know my movement and I know how to use it. I really need to animate the assault rifle reload. I'm tired of seeing the SMG reload. That's crazy. That sounds like something I would say. Hey, thanks for the sub. Are you at work? Oh, yeah. That makes sense. Yeah, see, this right here is where we noticed that the center dot was shifting too far off center. Or it's not even that the center dot is shifting, it's that the outside circle is shifting too far. Because we just noticed we were just having such, like, I'm actually wondering, can I microanalyze this? Yeah, see, once I get my aim on him, look at that tracking right there. I'm tracking to the center of the circle. Like, he stays centered on my circle pretty... Yeah, it's like I'm the dev. That's crazy. But, like, this tracking right here tells me that it is exactly what I thought. That we're actually using the outside circle to aim rather than the inside circle. Thank you, Dustin. Wow, I over-adjusted so much. We just could not hit our shots. So knowing that, going back into engine... Yeah, it still parallaxes, it still moves around, but it's not as much. We'll have to test that, we'll have to see how that feels. But... But I think also once we get some more like detailed, like we'll have some kind of details, just kind of like, maybe we'll show your ammo on the, like, on the holo site, like show like a bar showing your ammo, or just having some kind of like fancy, like, I mean, this is a horrible example. Okay, this isn't that bad of an example. Like this, you know how you kind of have all these sci-fi tech lines and you've got like ranges and stuff like that. Exactly. And that's something I've decided is putting ammo counters on the gun somewhere, but like, yeah, I think once we get some more like detail lines like this, like imagine having some of these lines at different depths in the reticle. That would look really sick, because then that would really show the parallax. But we'll have to see how long that'll take. But I think it'll be sick. But I mean, one thing I would do is, like, especially with this big old thing right here, is change that to be a different color. But the only issue with that is, and this is something I've kind of never come up with an answer, so if y'all have any ideas, let me know, is that because I'm big on customization, your crystal color changes the lights on your gun, it changes your tracers and all that. So I can't just go with a basic red as like a low warning symbol, because what if your crystal color is red? You're not going to notice that. I could do like a complementary color, so I do the opposite color like on the color wheel. Like if I bring up this thing, like if this is your color, then the complementary color would be like orange. Or if you have pink, then it would turn green. But then the issue is that green, well, now that doesn't signify low, that's going to signify like green is a color for good. And just like Vandra said, yes, that is the other option, is letting players pick their kind of warning color. But the issue is that also for game modes like, you know, even if they pick the warning color, well, what if they get into a multi-team mode and they pick the warning color as orange? Well, what if they get onto orange team in multi-team? Like, I don't feel like there's a one-stop-all solution. And that's where, like, especially with the particle effects, that is one of the things that I'm very, very, very aware is kind of a downside of the whole crystal color thing. Is like, crystal color thing is awesome. I love it. I think it's an amazing thing. It's just, I love it. It's so fun. Every time we've played with it, and I just see like free for all colors and everyone just has a whole bunch of different colors, and we're playing like Juggernaut or something, just seeing all those tracers, it just looks so sick. Like, let's see if we can find some gameplay. Let's go like March 2023. Let's just search test. Seriously, I don't have a test session. It's literally right there. That's crazy. I'm sure we played... Oh, there's the first test session. That's Speedy Rockets. I don't want Speedy Rockets. I want Juggernaut. We probably played Juggernaut on the first test session. Hey, I'm trying to be as organized as possible. This is Deathmatch. That's CTF. Gun Game. That's... Dude, this map... So I was chatting with some friends. Yeah, I've got... How many drives do I have? I think I have 5. Yeah, I've got my main drive, a couple flash drives, and then... So I have 4 drives and flash drives. But we were talking about it. I absolutely refuse to add bullet magnetism like Halo, even though that's... I know, that's what I'm saying, dude, right? You go back and you look at old Onyx, and holy moly. Even though old Onyx had more content, Gen 2 or Gen 3 visually looks way better. Yeah, I could, but the issue is, again, when it gets to multi-team, and honestly, that's one of the reasons of why I'm still doing team colors, is I'm trying to go back to the classic gameplay where, yes, you have red versus blue, and that works great for just 2 teams. Yeah, you could set yourself to always be blue, or you could set the enemy to always be red. But the issue then becomes, what if you have multi-team? Because then if you swap the teams, then callouts now become an issue. If you yell out, oh, red team's pushing for our base, and I look over and I see a yellow guy charging for our base, well, now communication becomes an issue. That's one of my issues with Halo Infinite, is because there's no team colors. You just say there's enemies pushing for our base, and it's like, that's one of the things of the crystal color that really comes out in gameplay, is you can specifically say, oh, yellow team's pushing for our flag. Well, I know yellow team sucks booty cheeks, so I'm not even going to worry about them getting our flag, because I know that we can kill them super easily. So, you know, that becomes now a very, very key part of callouts, is the colors. And that's why I love the crystal color thing, because it's one of those things I always theorized would happen. And when I actually had it happen in a game, when we did our first multi-team in Gen 2, it was insane how much it immediately clicked to me. And it just worked exactly how I thought it would. For me, I don't know if it worked for others, but so But what it was is like I would see yellow tracers come flying past my head, and I'd be like, well, I know Savage Potatoes on yellow team, and I know he's horrible, so I don't even have to turn around and fight him. And that's also where the sound design comes in, because I would hear the SMG shot go flying past my head, and I would see the SMG tracer, because each gun has its own unique tracer. So all of this stuff leads together to really, that once you kind of learn the game, you understand the game, you're in the moment, it honestly works really well. So like I would see the SMG tracer come flying past my face, I would hear the SMG shot and the bullet whiz, I would be able to hear that it's a light ammo bullet whiz, because each like bullet type has its own, so you have light, medium, and heavy ammo, and those all have unique bullet whizzes. So I would hear the light bullet whiz come past my head, I would hear the SMG shot, and I could tell the distance that he was shooting at me from based off the volume of it. And so you think to yourself, well, he's yellow team, so he's trash. He's shooting at me with an SMG at a long range, and I have full health. He's really just not a threat. And obviously that's a lot of things to think about. I'm sure I wasn't consciously thinking about all those things in the moment, but I was definitely consciously thinking about some of those things, mainly the crystal color. So that's where being able to set one color for yourself and being able to directly set colors for enemies is something I'm not really looking at doing, because it tends to lead to bad callouts. And then if the maps, you look at the concept art for Pathos, you look at the concept art for Pathos, you've got blue side, you've got did the other one stay open? It did. So like you've got these two sides of the maps. You've got blue side, you've got orange side. Okay, well now if you change your enemy team color to be purple, it's not that big of a deal, but now it doesn't match the map. And if you say, hey, I'm going to blue base, but you changed blue's colors, or like you changed your blue team to be purple, well now does that mean that all of the maps also have to change their colors? Which that could be cool, that could look cool, but the issue is that specific art like this is incredibly hard to design around like multicolors. It would have to shift everything. The lighting in the map would have to change, and the lighting is baked, that way it's optimized. A lot of the VFX are baked, that way they look exactly how you want. And so that's the other issue is, sure, you say, hey, I'm going to purple's base, your teammates are now confused, who the hell is purple? I only see blue team. And then now you're instead running into blue team, or like into a blue visual base, even though you're going for purple teams. Like it gets very confusing. The issue with that is, and that is one of the things that we have talked about, because that's one of the big things that went into our scoreboard concept. Where is this? Dev. Let me go to this. So let me just see if I can open this up in the browser. So this is our scoreboard concept for like the layout and everything that we're going to be going with. So that's what these little stars were supposed to be, is like a team icon. I'm not rebaking the lighting for every possible color combination. That is insane. We were thinking about well, the other issue is that there's like 8 to 10 possible teams. So, and the fact that some maps might have 4 bases, some maps would be 4 to the power of 10. Whatever the math is. But it's 4 to the power of 10 times 16, I think is what the math is, if I'm thinking about that correctly. I don't know. I haven't done probabilities in ages. But like that's what these little stars were representing, was a team icon. So you could say like Cyan team is the Sharks, kind of how Halo 4 had it. I actually really liked how Halo 4 did have kind of mascots for each team. But again, the issue with that is like Halo Infinite has mascots. I've never personally cared to learn that. I've never learned, like, I know Eagle and Cobra are the starting teams, but past that, nobody knows. Nobody knows that. So, as much as teams being called by color is not a foolproof way, I think it is still the most common way. Majority of people, 95, 98% of people are still going to say red team, yellow team, blue team. Rather than saying, oh, I'm gunning for, you know, the dinosaurs or the T-Rexes, or I'm gunning for the Mandalorian. I don't know. I don't know what we'd end up doing for mascots, but like now not only do you have to learn what team is related to which mascot, but now you have to consciously remember to use that mascot when you're doing callouts. I think personally, and I will have like colorblind settings and all, and that's the other issue of a lot of the color stuff, is it's maybe not the best. Yeah, okay, you even thought the same thing. Yeah, the whole color based thing isn't the greatest thing for colorblindness, but, and as much as I want to plan for colorblindness, I think you see, that's kind of what we already prototyped. I actually had it to where the nameplates were the color of the team, and for certain instances it felt intuitive because you would see the blue nameplate and you'd be like, oh, that's blue team. For certain instances it felt good, but then the issue is people instinctively see red and think that's enemy. So if you're on red team, you might see red team's nameplates and immediately think that that's an enemy. It's weird. We are gonna have to do some more testing with that. But oh, that's infection. Oh no, this is pest control. This was a fun game mode. You're playing as like a little mini player. It was also very broken. This is Speedy Rockets again. Did we seriously never play Juggernaut? Or did I just not have Juggernaut in the game? I don't think I ever had Juggernaut in the game at this point. Oh. I know how to find it. We go over here to games and then videos. And then we come to, where is it? Desktop. Wherever desktop is. And then we right click and we sort by size. This will give us the... Yeah, I found it. Yeah, that is always something that I've been well aware of. Did it actually sort? Oh, that was fast. How long is this video? 3 hours. Dang, that's just a video of... This is really old gameplay. Wow, that's what the old hologram used to look like. It used to be like Mirage's ability in Apex. So you would spawn these 4 like copies of yourself and they would just mimic your movement. It was very bad, very stupid. This is the beginning of Gen 2. Anyways, stop being distracted. I don't know. Going back on what you were saying. Algici. I don't even know how to say her name. I just realized. Yeah, I don't know. I think what I would end up doing is specifying a UI like warning color, because the UI will always be whatever color you set for the UI. I would never change like any colors on the guns or anything like that. I think I would just very specifically specify a warning color you know, just the same way you can specify your reticle color. You can specify your friendly reticle, your kind of normal reticle color, and then you can oh, I know. I have been going through, so that folder we were just in, this is 147 gigs. You see that there are exactly 300 files in here because every day I have been going through this and going through 100 of each of these just because I'm trying to clear out my desktop. So that's just this folder. I have each of these folders to go through. And as you can see, this, I have already gone through some of these a few times. This is not 24 gigs anymore. This is some like old Halo 2 gameplay. This is when I was 1v1ing my buddy. This game, I remember this game very, very clearly. You see how I'm at 96 and the guy below me is at 92? When I joined this game, he was at like 38 or something like that. And I came back and I won. I also was abusing the sword because the sword has no percentage in Halo 2, so. And look at that, I got 1 kill left. And how do I end the game? With a sticky, because obviously. Yeah, that's crazy. 200 gigs of WAVs is insane. Each one of these videos probably averages around... Excuse me, this video by itself is 1.6 gigs? How long is this video? You're telling me a 5-minute video is 1.5 gigs? That's insane. That's insane. That's crazy. I clearly did not have my settings optimized at that time. It's I know it's being recorded at 60 FPS, but it's I guarantee you it's I know it's I'm pretty sure it's using whatchamacalls it. That, how do you even go through that? 2,000 WAVs to go through? Like, I could not. I could never. All right, how many frames is this breathing? 160. Yeah, that's what I was telling you the last night or yesterday about like my buddy songs. Is we have so many songs from our for our like album 2, and they were made like 3 years ago, so they're extremely old. Bruh. Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, I've got so many features that, like, there's so many features and stuff that I've prototyped in my Gen 2 build that I would love to bring over to Gen 3. I just don't know when I'm going to have the time to be able to do so. There we go. I don't know why I wasn't copying that properly. But for breathing, we really don't need anything crazy. We literally just need this thing to start low. Copy and paste that last keyframe, and then for this keyframe, just go high. And look at that, breathing animation, done. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Exactly. That's what I was just telling these fools on stream. That's what I was telling you the other day is, like, yeah, if this was able to get to the point where I was earning enough money from this, I would totally go part-time. And then I would go part-time and I'd be able to sink more time into this, and then that would end up making the game be built faster and have better quality and be more reliable and optimized, and that in theory would lead to more art, and in theory more art leads to more people being brought in, and so it ends up building off of each other. But being limited to like 2 to 3 hours a day, if that, is extremely detrimental to the progress, which I hate. 1150 to 1310. Exactly. That's why I'm not really looking forward to getting that position. Like, I want it money-wise, but I don't want it because very, very low amount of free time. If Algici and Van are still here, you know, this is something that, like, I'd be willing to talk about more in the, like, in the Discord, just because, wait, I'm not even using ADS idle. What am I doing? I can just call this breathing idle. Just because, yeah, the whole color thing, it's great. I love the crystal color stuff. It leads to amazing gameplay and good visuals, I think. But there is the issue that it is a downside that colorblind people, it doesn't really work too well for colorblindness. So, and I'm aware of that. And it's just trying to figure out how to do it best. Yeah, that's an idea. I don't even think a month off would be enough time. Hey, I'm gonna have colorblind settings. In theory, I could get colorblind settings set up right now. Because it's built into Unreal, so it's kind of easy. I don't know if it's fully fleshed out or if I'm gonna have to add some of my own stuff. I will likely have to, but... Oh, yeah. I got you. Of course I got you. Alright, this is gonna mess up the pistol ADS, but it's fine. We're gonna go back and do a pass on that. Like if ADS on that pistol right now. Yeah, look at that. That's not how that's supposed to look. Hey, you can be annoying. I don't care. Just not even playing a breathing animation. Oh, I know why. Because I set the play rate to 0. Yeah, that makes sense. And it's not set to loop. Why is the dot moving? It's not supposed to move. This is 10 meters out. Gosh darn it. That's one of the issues with doing this with parallax is it's an object in the world, so anytime. Well, yeah, you're not well, you do breathe, you just shoot at the end of your exhale. So but same. However, for feedback to the player, you need a breathing animation. All right, let's fix this reticle. I think height offset is going to need to be 10,000, which makes it this teeny tiny dot in the distance you guys probably can't even see on screen. Golly, how big do I have to make this? Alright, see ya, Van. Yeah, that's fair. I just saw your chat about the sarcasm, Dustin. I don't like how the center dot moves. Yes, sir. Do you have music on your YouTube? Oh yeah, you do. Oh. I. Let me go check them out. Hey, those of you all in chat, y'all should go check out this link I'm gonna send. Shut up. I don't want to hear myself. Y'all should go check them out. No, you don't. Shout out Dustin. Okay, so why does all of a sudden... Why does the reticle move with the gun all of a sudden? Left and right really doesn't move it anymore. Yes, sir. I'll be in tonight. Have a good one, buddy. Aight, see you. This bothers me that the reticle is moving with the gun, even though very clearly it's not supposed to. Let's go back to the old number that I had. No, it's still very much visibly moving. I might have to rethink how I'm doing this. It's like, why does left and right work, but going up and down doesn't? It's like... It's almost like... Almost like it's not... Something. But I know it is. If I drag the gun over here, it still points there. So... I also think it might even be a little too extreme. What the? What is going on? What? I'm so utterly confused. I'm exporting the animation from the right keyframes, but in Unreal, the first couple frames are... they're messed up. That makes no sense. I mean, I can do it like that, and that'll fix it, but that means it's not going to be necessarily a seamless loop. Or it's just not going to play. All right, Unreal is now there's just no animation. Why? This makes no sense. Unreal. Do do I have to keyframe something else? Do I have to like keyframe this and this and all these bones and all their settings? Unreal is being very unreal right now. This makes also no sense. If I play the animation, you can see the hands moving. But if I go and remove frame 0, then it just stops. Ah? And this is one of those things of why game design takes so long. You would think importing an animation would be super easy and simple, but nope. I'm not switching to Godot. Yeah. Just saying. Uh-huh. Nope. All right, screw it. We're not doing breathing because apparently breathing just doesn't want to work. So we're going to go back to using this. It'll make it work. Alrighty, well, in that case, what's next? Oh, we'd do walking, but walking is also a loop, and I'm sure that that's gonna break too. So, in that case, what we're going to work on is the gun's reticle by default being not visible. Okay, I just don't even have a opacity modifier. Oh, it'd be very, very, very helpful if I would just set it. And then one of the other things I need to do for the ADS reticle is anything that has a depth. Height offset. Now, in theory. Yep. Cool. We don't have a reticle on the pistol. If we go into slow motion as we ADS. I already see what one more issue is that we have to fix. That does look sick, though. So basically what's going on is, you know, you see the dot for the pistol in the distance. And what's happening is as the height is bringing it closer, it's because it's scaled to be big in the distance. What's happening is it's flashing in and it's, I'm having it to where the reticle scales in the distance as you ADS, because I think it'll be cool to see the parallax kind of scale into the distance. But the issue is because the reticle is scaled, I am also going to have to lerp between the reticle scale in the distance and the reticle scale normally. So in theory, what that should look like is we just take this scale and we do a lerp from 1 to that, and that should fix that issue, I believe. Actually, we can test it before even going into game. What I can do is once this decides it wants to work or finish compiling. I don't know why those materials all need to compile, but whatever. We can come to this material parameter collection. If I drag this off to the side while I change ADS amount, you can see that that dot kind of stays the same size. Not really, but it's not as big anymore as it gets dragged in. I'm definitely gonna have to do some custom curves because I would like the screen to fade in a lot faster than something like the dot. Instead of it just directly being a 1-to-1 ratio. But yeah, see, like you can kind of see how like if we go even slower, as I start to ADS, you see the reticle and you kind of see it scale into the distance, but because of the angle, you don't really get to see it as much. So that's why I want to make a custom curve, and I can do that right now. I want to make a custom curve that the kind of screen, the black kind of gray opacity screen, will fade in first, and then once the scope gets closer to like right here, that's where you'll actually see the reticle fade in. So we do it on the pistol now. And then I also have the outer circle on the pistol. Yeah, let's go make that custom curve. Or do I want this? Weapon data? Sure. No, because that's all like the actual weapon data itself. And I think I'm going to need a custom curve for the screen and a custom curve for the reticle opacity. And then probably a custom curve for the reticle like distance scale. So we're just going to do it as a vector because that'll give us 3 curves. We can use the red, green, blue. So for red for now, we want to, let's just make this linear. I did not know I could move it by clicking mouse wheel. But since I want this, so we'll use red for the screen. Since I want the screen to fade in first, let's put this at half a second. So basically once you're halfway ADS, the screen will be full visibility. And in theory, I can close everything because we won't need any extra code for this. This will all be in the material, which I should probably clean up at some point, but that is for a later day. I'm not doing that right now. Even though that is literally exactly what I'm doing right now. Okay. Alright, ADS amount, we'll plug that into a curve. I don't remember how to do curves and materials. I don't remember how to do curves and materials. I remember it's not an easy setup. Curve atlas and color curves.
So you just wish there was a way to use the color ramps in Unreal the way we could in Blender. Not a problem. Now if you've been messing with Unreal, you've probably noticed that the Niagara curve color particle thing doesn't really function the way the color ramp does. The curve controls the color of a particle throughout time, but we want a ramp that controls different parts of the texture all at the same time. Now at first it seems like the color ramp doesn't exist in Unreal, but that's really just because it's divided into 2 parts. To create a color ramp in Unreal, right-click, create a color curve, then you can double-click to change the color and the opacity of the black and white values, or left-click somewhere in between to create a new color altogether. Whenever you're done, save, and in order to apply it, you'll need to right-click and create a curve atlas. Then drag in the color curve you just created. Now in order to apply this to a material, all you have to do is right-click and create a curve atlas.
Oh my. Alright. Well, that's curve atlas. That's so stupid. And you can only do it with colors, of course. So let's delete this. You can press enter. And let's go create instead a curve linear color. And put this value at 0.5. No, we need the time to be at 0.5. Yeah. And then we plug that into there. So we save. And then this parameter gets set to ADS curve, color curve, I guess. Now Why did I close the player? That's the fastest way for me to get to my setting. All right. Now we can close the atlas. Extra width. This thing can be like 50. This thing does not need to be high quality by any means. But anyways, now if we come to our assault rifle reticle, you're back at work. Yeah, you can see now that if we start scrolling this, it starts fading in. Once we hit 0.5, it is now 100% opacity. And the reticles are fading into the distance. Look how cool that is. Seeing the reticles fade into the distance, that's going to be sick. So, if we go quickly test this in editor in slow-mo, then you should be able to see that the screen fades in, and then once it gets to center, then it fully fades. So now let's get the green channel set up. So the green channel, we want the reticles to fade in slower, or this will be their positioning. So let's just say that they start fading in, or their position starts to change at like 0.25, not the value, 0.25. And then let's make this a curve. That way we can kind of have it ramp up a little bit as it gets further and further into the distance. And then we're going to want the blue channel to be the visibility of the reticles. So we don't want them to be visible until... Actually, we want these to be 0.25. And then we want the green to start at 0.5. That's what we're going to... So they start to become visible. And then once they're visible for a little bit, then they stretch into the distance. That's what we want. So... let's copy this, put red into the global opacity. And then we want to multiply the reticles opacity by the blue channel. And then over here, we want the depth to be... yeah, we want it to be like this. We want this to be the green channel. All right, let's see what that looks like. I think I set it up properly. I have no idea. So we take our FOV. We start slowly scrolling through it. Whoa. Whoa. That's weird. Not how that's supposed to look. Oh. Whoops. There we go. I like that. I'll have to see how that actually feels in game, but I mean, it's hard to see because the ADS is so quick. But if we slow it down, I'm thinking we're gonna want the distance. Yeah, green is the distance. Yeah. I'm thinking we're gonna want the distance to be to finish slightly earlier. Just so then that way we can see the reticle before it actually gets to the center of our screen. I just realized something. Because I'm using a global material parameter, if you look at the pistol on his hip, as I ADS, the reticle on his hip is going to ADS too. Huh. I'm going to have to completely rethink how I'm doing that then. Crap. I'm not going to be able to use a material parameter. I'm going to have to do it as a parameter in the material. Yeah, I realized that like that was one of the things that of why I'm doing it this way and having it to where as you ADS the screen kind of activates, and I'll have some kind of like other screen effects on it. Instead of it just being a flat texture, I'll kind of have some like panning texture to make it look like it's like, I don't know, an LCD screen or something, because that's you know, that's the vibe of the HUD. I kind of want to match that vibe with a lot of the stuff in the world, just because it'll make the world feel a lot more grounded and real, I guess. And that's one of those things that we noticed, that when players were invis, the guns on their hips, because the reticle or the scope was always visible before, you would be able to see just a couple pixels of their scope when they were invisible, and it led to people just being seen from, you know, even when they're invis, you just kind of see this little tiny black, kind of grayish, halfway transparent square just slowly moving towards you, and you're like, oh, that's a player. I think I actually have a clip of me noticing that, and so that's why I'm doing it this way. But yes, that does mean that if an invis player does ADS, you will be able to see the scope when they ADS. So I think I need to add a new function to my interface for weapons, called update ADS alpha. And then we come into weapons and we can implement that interface. Update ADS alpha. And then because Unreal Engine is awesome sometimes, we can just call a function called set scalar parameter value on materials. And I don't even have to worry about changing material instances. Can I get scalar? No. Okay. Parameter name was ADS alpha. I think that's what I called it. Yes. There is a space. Good. Okay. And then that'll go into there. And in theory, all we need to do is call this from the player. And then in theory, we should be back in business, boys. That should work. And it indeed looks like it does. Now if we go back into slow-mo, again, it's so quick. It's like 1/10 of a second to ADS. Oof. Yeah, I need to change the curve to be the other way. I was thinking maybe I had it wrong. Ooh, I wonder if I kind of do a curve like that. I might give the look that I want. Can't really tell when it's not slow motion, but no, that does not give the look that I want. Okay. What if I kind of do more of a curve like that? And then have it to where, yeah, it just scales up really fast once it gets to the end. I mean, it's a little bit of the look I want. I should probably debug it. Coming to the music. I'll just skip forward in the playlist. Guess that part's just quiet or silenced. Let me debug the ADS alpha just because then I can actually get the values instead of just plugging and playing and seeing what works. It'll make my time much faster. We're gonna call this ADS alpha. I think right about there is where I actually want it to start going. So 0.2. Actually, what's that? 0.4. So 0.4 is actually where I want it to start moving. So 0.4. And then I think I'll just do something like that. Yeah, that feels. Why am I spending so much time into this? No one's gonna notice. But I guess one of my big things is that I want everything to look good in slow motion in replay, like, because I want replay to be such a big feature for Onyx. Like, I want everything just to look good in replay. And so I guess that's why I spend so much time making all these little details count.
Gained the lead.
I'm so confused as to why this is happening. Why does like the center of these turn white? Or why does it like turn invisible? Whoa. That's kind of weird. That's strange. Wow. That was so unexpected. I have no idea. I'm gonna have to do a revamp on this. I might even have to make unique textures for ADS for ADS stuff, but I'm liking this though. I like. So now the ADSs, obviously. For some reason theirs is always visible. Oh, because I set the default to 1. Let me go to assault rifle ADS. Set this to 0. And now, yes, the ADS is invisible, and in theory, it's very hard to see. But if we go FOV like 40, if you look at his hand, when I ADS, you can see, oh, that's cool. You can see it on the third person one too. So this will be cool when it's replicated, because then you'll be able to see people ADS and you'll see the reticle kind of, you'll see the reticle animate in third person, and then you'll be able to see. But yeah, that's sick. That's sick. I like that. Dang, it took me a while to get it, because I never liked seeing the actual scope on the pistol when you were out of ADS. But like now... And now that it's working, all I have to do is update the material, and I can make the ADS whatever I want it to be. So in theory... I can actually have it to where like the screen like digitalizes, and maybe it has like a panning effect where it like pan upwards, and... I don't know. I can do honestly unique ADS reticles per gun. So maybe like if there's a, you know, one of the things we're thinking about doing for some of the guns, which will help with designing them, is having different manufacturers, and so different manufacturers will specify in different areas. So we have like one Industries. I'll save the name for later. We already have the name for it. But they kind of specify in more like electricity and kind of like rail-based weaponry. So they'll be the ones creating the Strand rifle. They'll be the ones creating the Disruptor. Both of which are weapons the community has basically never seen. They might have appeared, or the Strand rifle might have appeared in one gameplay, but I doubt y'all would know what it is. It didn't have a model or anything. It was just using the assault rifle. But they'll make the Strand rifle. The Disruptor is also something no one's ever seen. We've never even had that in game. They'll make the railgun, which hasn't been in Onyx since Gen 1, so it's been ages since that's been in the game. And then I think there's a third one. I have a list of all this stuff, but like they create all like the electricity-based weapons, and then there'll be a manufacturer for all the like plasma and kind of laser-based weaponry. And so like maybe the way they do their scopes is unique to their company, and so like maybe that's just an artistic thing that we can... You know, like maybe the standard like human weapons like this that just use, you know, normal bullets, maybe those just look exactly how it is here. But then maybe those other companies kind of have it be more like styled and animated and kind of fancy, because those weapons are going to be more than just basic human, you know, weaponry. So they're not alien, they're still human, but they're not just like standard, you know, bullets, firearms. They're kind of like unique weapons in the way that they shoot. Yeah, I think that'll be really cool. I love doing this. Oh, my frames. I really need to optimize the debris. I'm liking that. I'm liking that a lot. Well, that's one thing to check off the list. Can't believe it took me 2 hours just to do that. I mean, I know we spent like a good 45 minutes trying to get this stupid breathing working. Just so stupid that it took that long. There's no reason it should have taken that long. Trying to figure out if there's anything else regarding ADS that I want to work on, because the issue is if there are a few things, but if I start on them now, I'm gonna be streaming for another 2 hours, and I don't have the time to do that right now. I've got like another 20-30 minutes, maybe. So, hmm. Oh, music just came back. That's crazy. Hmm. Let me look at my let me look at my Notion board. Oh, that's something we could work on. The windscreen needs to properly, or the win and loss screen needs to properly, oh, by the way, I updated this since the last time we streamed this. So now it plays victory and then it kind of do, and now it's just the lines at the top and bottom. But I need to scale this to the team that won, because if we say like the chunkier bean won, then we go into the animations and we play it through that point, you can see the text just stop selecting it. You can see the text doesn't really fit. So what we're gonna have to do is, and this is something that you can see I kind of started working on right here. We're gonna have to take the desired size. We're gonna have to send that off to the widget or to the material. So let's go find the material first and foremost. UI, HUD, and game box. And then we're going to need to create a variable in here called bottom center length. And then we'll want to divide this by 2. Actually, we need to we want to divide this by the texture size first, because we're going to be sending this through in pixels. So divide this. Here comes Pac-Man. Once that's divided by the texture size and divided by 2, we can now implement this into where's bottom left and bottom right line. Bottom left and bottom right line right here. We also need another scalar called bottom line separation. And this will just lerp between let's see, for the left line, it's going to be B. So the blue channel would be end of X for the left line. So if that's that, and then it would be I think that's gonna work. I have zero clue though. What was I animating in? 100? That's weird. That's bottom right. We need bottom left to be 0.5. And instead of doing this, we need to add a float for bottom line separation. And let's just make this like texture size is 700. Let's make this 100 pixels. Bottom line separation. Yeah, that works. Cool. All right, and then instead what we need is the exact same code, but for the bottom right line, we want the start Y, we want this to be add, right? Bottom right line is end X, so yes. So if end X is 0.5 and we start bottom line separation, then that spreads them apart. And now what we can do is come into the widget, go into here, grab image outline, and do get dynamic material, set scalar parameter value. What do we call it? Bottom center length. Copy display name. And we stick that as that. And in theory. Now, okay, it's not going to look right in this preview. But let's go back to my player. And let me go into the temp thing. Plug this back into setting the post match, or setting the game state to post match. Huh. Hmm. I swear if Unreal Engine crashes. Yeah, I called it. Huh. $437. So let's take a screenshot of this. Well, that's pretty accurate. I don't know why the freaking lines are getting extended so far out though. Oh. Alright, well, we're gonna fix this jank. So it would be 437 times whatever 1000 divided by 700 is, or no, 700 divided by 1000. Why did I'm stupid. I knew that's 0.7. Whoops, I'm an idiot. I apologize to everyone. All right. So now we just need to add a certain margin. Let's go like 0.1. That way there's some space between the text and the end game screen. Oh wait, no, this is in pixels. So we just need to do like 30 pixels. That should be good. Oh yeah, that feels great. So, okay, cool. Well, that's great. I'm happy with that. End game screen now properly scales to the text of who won. I think that's going to be it for today. I basically got one of the things I wanted to get done on ADS. I didn't get all of it because for some reason the breathing animation is being really stupid. So I don't know what that's about. I might have to mess with that tomorrow when I get home from work. But I'm happy with ADS. We fixed that little bit on the end game screen. And well, there's still a little bit more to do on the end game screen, but I think I'll wait on that until we do the scoreboard. And that is one of the next things I will probably stream. There's still a little bit more work I need to do on ADS, but I think I'm going to do some of that off stream. Just because it's actual code. And code I need to focus. Not have you guys distracting me. So yeah, I think we'll hold off on doing more ADS stuff, or maybe I'll stream it, but I'll definitely do some work on it off stream. Do some off stream mining. So, but that should be it for now. I appreciate you guys for being here. We're gonna call it there, and I will catch you guys in the next stream, which I don't know when it'll be. Definitely not tomorrow. And during the week is kind of just iffy whenever if I feel like it. So yeah. But yeah, we'll see. So I shall talk to you guys later. So see ya.